Hey, Jeff here, and welcome to episode 2 of 1GP to 100 mil flipping in the GE. If you want to see episode 1, it is linked in the description down below or on the screen now, and if not, just enjoy this video. Here we go. We start this video off with a little over 10k, and I already have an offer in for iron arrow tips and the yellow hat, some gray gloves, and I'm working on these rock hammers, which are used for Slayer when you're killing those crazy gargoyles, you know, those scary gargoyles from the 90s cartoon show. That's what I think about every time I get a gargoyle task. And then I went with some teal gloves, and I went with these dragon bitter, which I was just looking for items on the GE that had crazy low buys and high sell prices, because I'm trying to make some big money early. I mean, I started with 1GP to get to 10k is pretty good, but I have some higher aspirations in mind. My favorite part about this challenge has been the variety of items to flip, from the pink robe tops, teal gloves, I have lantern lenses in, rock hammers. I'm finding all these items that I'm trying to make some GP off of, because some GP profit is the good type of profit. It's a profit I like. So the gray gloves I buy, I get 400 of these lantern lenses. I got them for 8 GP each, trying to sell them for 17, so that's over double the money, even though it's just double a little bit of money. And we get the first profit. Rock hammer sells for a profit of 479. The lantern lenses sell for a profit of 3.6k, and then I cancel out these teal gloves because it's been sitting for a while. A lot of these clips are sped up 2 or 3 times because I'm stuck like that caveman SpongeBob, looking at the graphs and looking at different items, trying to figure out what items to buy or sell. So if that's why everything looks quick, that is why. 8 hours later, the iron arrow tips buy, we get 2 rock hammers, and we sell the teal gloves, dragon bitter, and we buy some pretty pink robe top, which is actually one of my first RuneScape items. We cancel out a couple of these things. The yellow hat hadn't come through in probably about 10 or 12 hours. We cancel out the other 2 rock hammers. We collect the teal gloves for 800 GP profit. We collect the dragon bitter for a 7.1k profit, so I try to buy 5 more for a little bit more than what I bought them for originally. And we move to these green Fremy gloves for that RuneScape. Yo, green is the color of money. The term mucho dinero would not describe me, so these cheap arrow tips have been a godsend for me, and the iron arrow tips end up coming through for a 6k profit. Can you believe it? Nearly 11 hours later, we get some rock hammers, we get selling some pink robes, we buy the dragon bitters, a lot of things rapid firing through here. We try to sell the Fremenite gloves, and we have the iron arrow tips come through. We're trying to sell those. So we sold the pink robe for a nice 400 GP profit. They're trying to get those gray gloves in there, but they still just have not been moving for me. But these rock hammers have been a very tried and true item for me, and I really like to try to milk these items out once I get them. And you can see in my cash stack's up to 20k, so we've already doubled our money 3 minutes into this and probably about 30 hours into this. If you've made it this far, please leave a like and subscribe for more. This is episode 2 in the series, and your guys' engagement means a lot. The 2 F's I can describe this challenge: fun and frustrating, but yet I like it. I like it a lot. It's been a lot of fun trying to find items to flip that I never would even buy, like unfinished broad bolts. Like, why would you even sell those? I don't think I realized there's a 7k limit on these, and I'm trying to max out my amount. Get the gray gloves coming through for a 1.7k profit because I bought them for 50 coins, so can't beat that. So I try to buy more. Fremenite gloves come through, and that was a nice 8.6k profit. That's incredible. We get the iron arrow tips for a nice 2.7k profit. Try to buy a few thousand more of those. I really like the arrow tips. Good liquidity and a high return on investment. 1 hour and 40 minutes later, I log in to find I only have 5 rock hammers, and this is where I was like, oh man, I was excited to get more stuff going. But then 9 hours go by and we make 21k off the dragon bitters. So we put another offer in for 10 of those. We buy 4 of the gray gloves for 200 GP, which is awesome. Put an offer in for the more rock hammers, try to get 40 more of those. The bitters weren't moving, so I put the price up a little bit more. Another 9 hours go by. The arrow tips come through, my little money making monkey guy, generating me a 16k profit. So, you know, that's a nice little monkey guy for me. I don't know what I even mean by that. So I try to buy more of those arrow tips because the arrow tips are great. Get some of the dragon bitters in for 750, try to sell them for 6k each. And we put this gray toy horse on the GE. There have been like 3 sold for like 2 GP each, and I'm like, I'm just gonna try to hopefully snipe one for 2 and see what we can do with it. Get 15 of the rock hammers coming through, try to sell those for 690, effectively tripling my money on those. I go go to sell one singular unfinished broadbolt, and it sells for a nice profit of 54 GP. I'm just being dumb. So I'm trying to get some mithril arrow tips. We've moved up the tier. We've done bronze, we've done iron, skipped over steel. Who the heck needs steel? There's no such thing as black arrow tips. So we'll do mithril. And these massive renewal are kind of like the gray horses, where there was just some random ones going for super cheap. And granite is always a decent item for me. So those rock hammers actually just netted me a nice profit of 7.1k. The first goof up of the series so far. I put the rock hammer offer price in at 690 on accident, and they all came through. Never realized it. So I try to make my money back on those, at least not to take a loss. Get the granite, which was really nice. Bought 2 gray horses. Try to sell those for 15k each, and the dragon bitters are not moving like they were before.
9 hours and 42 minutes later.
We get a couple thousand iron arrow tips. We try to sell those, pretty much doubling our money there. Dragon bitters still aren't moving, so I'll drop those down to 1k. Still making 250 per on those. Granite ends up selling for a 460 GP profit. The rock hammers, I end up making 377 back on those, and the Mask of Renewal came through for that, whatever it was, 100 GP. So I made sure I got the rock hammer price right at 205 that time. Cancel out those mithril arrow tips. I guess we're not ready to move up a tier yet. Staying in my lane, I keep with the iron arrow tips here, maximizing, checking what the profit would be. It'd be a 50k profit if those came through. Holy mackerel, it's raw mackerel, baby. We're going in for some raw mackerel. I got so desperate, I literally typed raw in on the prices website, and I was like, all right, anything that's raw, that's selling for cheap, I need to get rid of the 6,200 coins, and I maximized everything, and the Mask of Raoul sold. The Bionicle Mask got me a profit of 19.7k, so I try to buy 5 more of those. I'm gonna change the price of the raw bass by 1 just to increase the rate of them. Plus I had some more money to play with, and I'm like, I can change it up a little bit, get some iron arrow tips, sell the dragon bitters for a profit of 1.6k, cancel out the rest of the granite and the rest of the rock hammers. I also cancel out the rest of those holy mackerels too, just to try to start selling this stuff, because a lot of times these prices are so volatile that those buying prices I have in could be outdated in 2 or 3 hours, and sometimes there's 4, 5, 6, 8 hours between these clips. Made 15k off of one gray toy horsey, so that really came through. Trying to sell the other one for 10k, 6 hours go by, we sell the iron arrow tips for a 60k profit. That is what I am talking about. And then the raw bass goes through for a nice 14k profit. So I'm like, I'm gonna just keep maximizing this. This is where the snowball really started rolling down the hill. The granite ends up selling for 14k profit, baby. I can't believe it. I don't know why I keep saying baby. I'll start saying grown man. Heck yeah, grown man. And cancel out the Mask of Renewal and the other item there, because I'm like, it's been a few hours, they're not moving. The mackerel sells for a 41k profit, so I'm again reinvesting that profit into more mackerel. And then the rock hammer sell for 1.4k. Can you believe it? So I still try to get more of those, and now that I have a little bit more money to play with, I'm gonna increase my investments and get some snakeskin, some of these items that move multiple million sometimes per day. And I wanted to invest in something a little bit more stable than the volatile items I've been working on. But then I found these hunter spear tips, which just were too juicy. It's a newer item, and their volatility is all over the place. They're going for 6, selling for 20, 25. So I'm like, I'll invest the rest of my money in those. 11 hours go by, some granite comes through. I'm pretty happy about that, and I can make some money on that, and I get all of the hunter spear tips. I couldn't believe it. I was like, is this real? Is this gonna work out for me? My rock hammers are still coming in at a pretty good rate. The mackerel does not want to buy for 3 each. That just happens. I get 50 iron arrow tips. That's 50. I try to sell those for 12, make a little bit of a profit. The mackerel went from 3 each up to 7, so I'm like, they were working for me. I'm gonna try them again. The snake skin price changed on me, so I had to go back and raise that up, and I'm just gonna reinvest all of my money into it. I'm checking how much money I have. I'm like, all right, I can get all of that in there. I let the offer sit and stew for a little bit, and boom, iron arrow tips come through for a profit of 350 GP. Granite comes through for a profit of 12k, and the hunter spear tips come through for a profit of 56k. I did not think that was, like, grown man, that was awesome. I was blown away.
420 snake skins.
They end up selling for a profit of 4,200, which I was very happy about. That's a good amount of profit for only 420. And then I try to get more iron arrow tips, because I'm still in the iron tier when it comes to buying these arrow tips. tips, and so I invest 60k back into those, or the max buy limit, which is 6 of them, 10,000 for 6. Steel darts are one of those weird items that randomly will go for 1 or 2 GP, and then they also will go for like 7 or 8. After 2 hours, I get the hunter spear tips, try to sell those, get the snake skins, try to sell those, cancel out my rock hammers, try to sell those, and then the hunter spear tips end up selling for a nice profit of 90k, and the snake skin for 50k. I reinvest my snake skin money into more snake skins. The mackerel end up selling for a profit of 11.8k, and I take those steel darts and toss them in there for a 3 GP profit, so it'd be a 21k profit if they end up selling. End up trying to buy more mackerel for 8 each. Not too bad of a strategy for me, Jeff. Put in an offer. We're moving back down, boys, to the bronze arrow tips. We were up to mithril, didn't work. Steel weren't working out. We're like, let's go back to bronze. The gray toy horsey was not being my friend, so I had to cancel him, put it back in for 300, sold for 495, so it was a profit of 493 because I bought them for 2 GP, and I ended up typing in bow on the website, and I found oak short bows were pretty weirdly volatile. They would buy and sell for just strange prices. So after 10 hours, I get some of the hunter spears, try to sell those, cancel out the bases, try to make a little profit on that, put in the oak short bows. It should be a pretty major profit on those. The steel darts end up selling for a nice profit of 21k. The raw mackerel went belly up for me, so I canceled those off. The bronze arrow tips slowed down, so I canceled those and put them in, and I went back to the OG start, the longbow. So I put an offer in for a lot of longbows, and I'm trying to type and try iron arrow tips, guys. We went from bronze to iron again, and they're just a pretty good item if you can get them, snipe them in for cheap. And then I went in for mithril nails here, and I was so excited about it, looking at the price on the website, smashing that 1,000. I'm like, this is going to be the greatest item ever. I'm looking, trying to maximize the amount I can buy, and I bought them at the wrong price. I felt so sick to my stomach. I'm like, this is another mistake. How did I do that? So I'm like looking at the highest price they sell. It's about 40. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to try to sell them and try to make any money back. Just a friendly reminder to double check your prices before you hit enter, especially when you're flipping with such a little amount of money. So the hunter spear tips ended up selling for a nice profit of 13.3k, and then the raw bass also ended up selling. But here I'm trying to tinker with the price. I should have collected the other offers first. This is another mistake. I was just tilted, guys. I was screwed up. So they had the bass sold for 280 coin profit, not the greatest. We got the nails, that was nice. It got the longbows all came in at 3 GP each, and then we move on to these steel javelin heads. It was a kind of an obscure item, but I literally typed in javelin because I'm like, maybe there's something with these steel javelin heads I can try to make some money on. So I only did a couple thousand in case it was an item that I would lose money on. Your eyes don't deceive you. We are trying the mithril arrow tips out again. For some reason, I thought it was a good idea when I only had 34k to buy 1,000 of them. It wasn't a good idea, but the nails end up selling for a profit of 5.8k. I ended up not losing money on, so I'm pretty happy with that. Cancel out some of these offers that aren't working out for me, because it's better to have the money and reinvest it in something that will make you money than sitting on all these quote-unquote dead items. At this point, I was having a hard time finding a good item to make consistent money on. Like the iron arrow tips, I had to cancel them out again. I'm trying more snake skins again. At this point, I was just like throwing darts at a dartboard of items. I'm trying all sorts of things, like, ooh, let's try the steel nails out. I'm like, ooh, bronze nails. Okay, iron nails wasn't good. Steel nails, could be a good profit. Mithril nails, if you don't screw them up, it probably could be a good profit. Sold hunter spear tips for 46k, so I'm trying to invest the rest of my money back into them, which would be very, very nice to get those coming through. That's been my big item that's been able to make me consistent money. Get some more steel nails, and finally the snake skins. I slither those in for a maximum profit situation. Have the mithril arrow tip sell for 4.1k, and I'm trying to figure out what do I want to invest this last 45k into, and I found these restore pot 3s were a decent item for some reason, so I invest a couple k into those. I end up getting the hunter spear tips finally, all 10,000. I sell them, they sell instantly for a profit of 140k. I was like shook. I'm like, I what? Longbows also sold for a profit of 35k, and I canceled out some of the slower quote-unquote dead items again, and I dropped the price a little bit in the old iron nails, and I tried to buy more of the OG goat itself, the longbow, the item that got this whole series started. I bought one of those longbows, and now I move on to like the golden item, the gold tiara. I didn't even know there was a gold tiara in the game. I found that out when I put this item in. Like, why is there a gold tiara? I don't care, just give me 7,700 of them and it'll be happy. Actually, 7,751 of them. I buy more hunter spear tips. I love these things. Try to sell those. Sell the bronze nails for a profit of 18k. Sell the snake skins for a profit of 78k, and I get a good amount of those tiaras. I was very happy about them. I'm hoping they'll work out. Their chart is wild on the GE. I dropped the price of the Orc short bow, but I'm still making a pretty good profit on it, and I go through and cancel these buy offers. Collect my profits of 132k for the hunter spear tips, 273k for the gold tiaras, 28k for the steel nails, which I did not record the longbows. I forgot about that, but I bought them all for 3 each, and I sold them intermittently between 20 and 15 GP each. I keep dropping the price on the oak short bows, but I'm just making sure I'm still making some money on them, but I'm trying to liquidate all of my stuff so I can get a nice big cash stack for the end of this video. The moment of truth, where are we in the 1GP to 100 mil series? We're at 1.4 mil. So if you like this video and you want to see more, smash that like button, subscribe for more, and I'm Jeff, and I'll see you next time.